Hi, Shannon Grimm here with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services and Shannon Grimm and Partners. Today we are joined by the CEO of Columbus Roofing, Michael McGovern.
Hello.
Got it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So he also has his own podcast, and that one sounds very intriguing. What is the name of that?
It's the Reckless CEO podcast.
Okay. That sounds like a lot of fun. He seems like he would be a lot of fun to just do podcasts with or hang with.
Yeah, I mean, I like to, talk and have fun.
You seem right up Stanley's alley. I, on the other hand, hate being on camera and hate talking.
Really?
So I did much prefer being behind the camera.
So what brought you on this side of it?
Sort of necessity.
Yep.
So, I don't know. And they are kind of fun to do because you learn more about people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't always have time to, network and get to know people that way.
Yeah.
So, for me, this is a good way to meet people.
Two birds with one stone kind of thing.
Yes. And you should come to our B&I networking group.
Count me in.
So, even though they have a roofing company there, you could come as a guest anyways.
Yeah, but, they'll have a new roofing company once we come through.
I like the confidence.
So, I forgot. I'm also I was really concentrating on the name. So, I'm joined with Mike Stanley, as always, and Denise Martinez with us. And so, how big is your company?
So, we've got about 40 employees.
Okay, that's
pretty good size for
pretty
a
respectable.
company.
Yeah, we're pretty large.
Okay, and how long have you been in Central Ohio?
This is our third year.
Okay,
so we're 3 years in business. Because about 40 employees. We are here in Columbus, but we facilitate within really 3 hours of the Central Ohio area.
Good to know, because we cover about 8 counties ourselves.
Yeah, so. I was telling them when I came in, I've actually stopped by here probably about a month ago or so and dropped my cart off because I noticed that you guys had shingles. That are sitting in the valley metal up there. I was like, hey. And then we showed up here, and I'm like, wow.
We're working on it. First, we're going to do $100,000 worth of work to the exterior.
I get it.
And thank God I don't rent this building personally. But I do enjoy using it, and it is in a great location because I live through the woods. So.
Yeah, we're right on the. My drive here was 3 minutes. So
wow.
I'm, where Toy Barn is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just catty corner from Toy Barn, right next where that red roof inn is.
Oh, yeah.
That 5131 Post Road building. Yeah, we're right there.
Oh, very cool.
We've been there for 5 years.
Very cool. Okay. So the podcast. So that sounds very intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of people have you had on?
I try to bring on, other business owners,
Mm-hmm.
kind of share their, experiences, and kind of their journey through business. I bring on some athletes. I got a buddy of mine that's in the UFC, so he's come on a few times and talked.
Okay,
and then,
cool.
Some mentors and things of mine as well who are in business, bring them on. And then I also would just bring on employees, interview them, have them kind of give their perspective of, coming on the team and what their experience has been. Just like you said, though, it's a great opportunity to just connect with somebody, get to know people, and it's it's once you get into like the flow state of a conversation, it's like you just get people to open up. You know what I mean?
I think people get so worried coming on the podcast. I said, look, the only way we could approach a podcast is naturally. Like, we can't do it because they're like, well, what kind of questions? Well, we can't script questions. We're going to not ask you something you don't know.
Yep.
You're going to know your name and how to contact you and what you do for a living. We want to have a conversation and forget the camera's even in the room and forget we all look goofy with these headsets on and stuff. But we just want to have a conversation.
Yeah, that's all it's about.
I think it goes pretty well. Sometimes we've ended up talking for, what was our longest one? That was kind of crazy.
50 minutes.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then we have one gentleman who we talked to for maybe 40 minutes, and we had to cut it down to 3 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
Just not any good information or what?
Oh, dear. It was intriguing information.
Too much.
Yeah. It was the oversharing.
Oversharing. Yeah. I'll make sure I don't
Oversharing.
overshare. I want to trim me down to 3 minutes. I got too much to say.
I don't.
We were just like, whoa, what is going
Oversharing
on?
is fine, but this was
We were looking at each other.
oversharing. This was like, where did you even get to that? Like, how did we get to this subject? Why are you saying this?
Yeah.
And it was
wild. Inappropriate. And we're just looking at each
Correct.
other and looking at Abby like, holy shit. Like, what did this dude just say?
I don't even know on my wildest night of partying on a guy weekend if the conversation would go the direction it went during our podcast with that guy. That's why I was like, what's happening right now?
We were just in disbelief.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. And like you said, right, kind of two birds with one stone, but today's society, content's king.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to be, people got to know you. They got to know what you do. You got to know how you can help them. And, I always say that to our guys. It's like if someone thinks roofing, they got to think Columbus Roofing.
And I have people convinced that I'm everywhere.
That's it. So. And social media or content can do that for you.
And people say they know me, and I've never met them. And so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But so, funny little story. So I have a teenager that I hang out with, and I forget.
That sounds so wrong.
Okay, he's we'll just say he's my godson. It makes it easier than telling the whole story. But he travels with me, and we were at an airport in Minneapolis, and someone walked up to me and said, "Are you Shannon Grimm?" And he was just like, "Like, well, I know you. You're famous." And I'm like, "She just happens to be from Columbus and is a real estate agent." So it was just funny.
Famous.
It was just funny that she was a fellow real estate agent.
You gotta lean into it.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm famous.
But and like when he was really little, he was like, "We should put your sign in everyone's yard." I'm like, "Buddy, I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but I like the way you think."
Yeah.
Like just my name out there everywhere. So
well, even if they got to go pull the sign, they still see the name.
Yeah.
Any publicity is good publicity.
That's right.
It was just cute. But he's interned for us for a little bit, and we've done like a little interview with him, and we made our most recent intern who went off to college. We made him do a little like exit podcast. It's like, well, you got to go on once before you leave.
Yeah,
so
love that.
And he's pretty cool. So. He's actually a unique kid, we think. Unique teenager, that one. So he's a hard worker. But so it's kind of cool that you put your employees on. So
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. You say you put employees on after they've gotten like onboarded, like newer employees. So you sit them down and have a talk and before the podcast and say everything's perfect here, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I hold a knife.
Yes,
there's a gun right here the whole time.
Well, and it's good to kind of, I like to bring people on and really get an idea of like, what brought them here, why, right? Because that's a good idea to know from the business perspective of like what about us made you want to come here, and then after they've been there for an amount of time, I like to kind of re-interview them again and get their perspective on like how has your experience been with being with us.
Okay.
And then that's content too, right? Now that's that's a way that we can show the public eye that we're not just roofers, you know what I mean, that we are intelligent.
And with roofers, they want to know, for one, that you're local.
Yep.
And they want to know that you've been around and you don't plan on going anywhere.
Yep.
So, and I think the more, as we get into the automation and the AI, the more human you make your company,
100%,
the better off you are. Because even they try to replace real estate agents, but our business is about relationships. Mm-hmm. And when people say we're in sales, we're like, we're really not. Like, I think that's kind of slimy.
Yeah.
Like, it just has a negative undertone, the word sales. So I'm like, we really want to educate buyers and sellers and help them get the best deal and, help them feel like they had a win and they got a solid house or, they had a great transaction. So you still have to make yourself human and your business human.
Well, and I think I think with automation, right, getting into AI and those things, it's like that is not the asset, right? It's like, to me, the relationship, the connection, like you always have to have that, right? And the automation should be created to allow you to be more connected to the people, right? The more that you can automate systems that you can remove human error, right? The more that a salesperson can focus. And be able to focus on being, intent in the conversation,
scheduling their podcast with automation.
Exactly, right. And I have to think about because we only got 3 to 5 good decisions in us a day.
Right.
Right. So the more that you got to think about,
he doesn't have any good
decisions
in him a day.
Dang. I've been there though.
I mean, I made some good decisions.
And he pounds on Abby from the moment he gets her. He starts beating her, and I'm like, you can't damage her. Leave her alone. We need her.
I feel it.
And him and our previous guy that would help us out with photos and stuff, they would wrestle in the hallways and stuff. It's like, what are you, 12? Like,
yeah,
correct.
Boys will be boys.
Correct.
And dear God, we had 3 high school interns, and I think those 3 18-year-olds turned him into a 12-year-old little boy.
Also correct.
And just trying to make them act up. I'm like, I had to take a year off from interns after those 3. So
I didn't take much for them to start acting up.
It did not.
Then they started doing it on their own. I wasn't even here.
The shit they pulled. They showed up at Topgolf to my 50th birthday party with fake IDs, all from the same state, and everyone served them. Yeah. And they were like 17 or 18.
And pockets full of fireball mini shots.
In there.
And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
But, so, I think it's really cool that you're in Dublin, too.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. And I am going to set you up too with like some of the area associations if
Would
you're
love
not
that.
already going to the
Yeah.
real estate area associations.
100%.
Because I think you have a good personality for that. I don't.
Yeah. I think you need to give
He has
yourself
a
more credit.
He has a great personality for going to the meetings. I do not.
Well, he likes to wrestle. Everyone likes to wrestle.
Yeah, who doesn't like to wrestle? If they
He just likes
if
to
they
be a
were,
goofball.
later than 8 a.m., I would be even better. But
Yeah.
when I walk in there and I'm like, "Where's the coffee?"
It's due
Well,
early.
well, and like he started going to our B&I meeting. He was like, "What do you mean there's no coffee and there's no snacks?"
Correct. If I'm
So
going to
now they
drive
have
45
coffee.
minutes and be there at 7:30 for a meeting
Feed
where we're
me.
going to sit, I at least coffee.
Yeah.
Well, now-
Food's a bonus, but at least coffee.
Now they have coffee all the time, and I keep snacks here and at our other office to make sure he's well fed.
That's it. I mean,
So-
And I am.
Snacks
We
are
all
key.
can see it. The camera adds some weight, but it doesn't
does.
need to. It's already there.
We're both well fed, but I say that he's my diet plan. I order something, eat half, give him the other half, and we can be each other's diet plan.
There
We
you
only
go.
eat half of whatever it is.
It's not a good diet plan.
But yeah, I think you do really well at the
Yeah.
area association.
yeah, I actually, so my kind of first step into entrepreneurship was real estate.
Okay.
And so I started out wholesaling, right? Got into that. Then I got into investing. So I raised, kind of started a syndication, bought a good bit of,
Cool.
single families, got into Section 8. And in the process of that, ended up starting the roofing company, still do some real estate investing and whatnot as well. But, for me, it wasn't coming fast enough, you know what I mean? So I
Right.
had to find a business to kind of be I always say that's like the pump, right? The real estate's the bucket. You've got to find the asset that fills the bucket.
Well, and realtors can be a huge asset.
100%.
So, and knowing the real estate business is an even bigger asset.
Yep.
So, like, I have a friend who started out at 18 as a real estate agent and became an auctioneer. And he buys properties and
Yeah.
holds them and buys them and flips them. And he owns bars and he owns pizza shops. And so, like, he just keeps buying businesses. And, like, some of his businesses are even national.
Yeah.
And his market were real estate agents. Like, he has a Forms Are Us business and UFAX.
Wow.
So in the day, that was like really big, and he still does UFAX for doctors and stuff. So real estate is a great,
Great connection.
Spring,
tool.
yeah.
100%.
and you having that background, but also know how to engage with real estate agents too.
Yeah.
So, and we need people we can rely on.
Well, that's really why I
So,
started the company, right? I'm like,
that's
if
the big
when
thing.
you look at contractors, if you can
You've
show
got-
up, be presentable, and communicate, you're pretty much 90% ahead of most of them.
Correct.
Yeah, and most
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It is.
Just shoot me an email or a text saying, "Yep, that's all I need." Just a yep.
Just a response.
And-
Yep, just a response.
most
I
of
would
the
love
time,
more than that, but
yeah, we let our clients know that they're probably not going to show up on time, but as long as they show up, it's still a win.
Right. Which is sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah, that's why I said it's like you, and even for us, like I make all of our guys wear polos, slacks, dress shoes. It's like we have dress code. We hold ourselves a certain way. It's we tried to remove some of the stigmas to contractors.
Right. And we try to remove the stigma to real estate agents.
There we go.
So we're working on it.
I love it.
So you started mentioning earlier, what areas do you service?
So like I said, we're obviously Central Ohio, and we'll go all the way out to Worcester.
Okay,
right? So
that's
we do some stuff
wow,
up there. So
that's
it's really
pretty far.
within 2 hours. I started a branch in Canton as well.
Okay.
Partnership kind of dissolved. But this year we'll be looking at. We've actually got two other companies that we're in the process of an acquisition on. So we'll be located in probably Cleveland and Cincy by the end of 25.
Okay, that's
Yep.
good too.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah,
And is
I
it
like
all going to be under the Columbus Roofing name?
So it really depends. So I have a parent company, like a corporation that owns Columbus Roofing Company, and that's called CRC Company.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the parent company that would acquire them, and it just depends on the market if it makes sense to change the name. A lot of times for us, it's more or less just the market share side, right? So I don't need it to be my name, just need it to run on our systems and processes.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
and if you go in and change the name, then people feel, you know what I mean, you might lose that connection. A little
Right.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah, like sometimes when you're buying a business, you're buying the whole business as an asset. Like I think it's a big mistake when people acquire businesses and then they change the name
100%.
because then you're losing the whole identity.
You are, yeah. And that's what I said. It's more of a market share thing, right? It's a
Yep.
customer base, it's connections, it's
Loyalty,
it's
yeah.
loyalty, right?
Yep.
And so it's really being able, and and in the construction space, just like we're talking about the AI and all that, it's a very behind the times space, right? And so for us,
we deal with new construction, so
right, and so for us, it's that's where we really can find leverage on, an acquisition of a company, because we can come in and we have, our own systems, our own processes, our own CRMs, and so we can come in, implement that. A lot of these contractors are just using paper and pen. You know what I mean? And so the more that you can, pick up, leverage through just the systems, you don't need to change the name. You just need to improve the system.
Well, and that's what I had to drill into myself. So it took me several years, but hey, it's noon on Wednesday.
Oh, is that the horn?
Yeah.
It's all right.
But it took me several years to figure out, okay, I need processes and people I can count on, and you can't put all your chips in one basket. You gotta know who's good at what.
100%, and you've got to build a system that's replicatable. You know what I mean? Like for us, we're constantly creating, SOPs and things like that, and making videos and documentation.
What is an SOP? I hate acronyms.
A standard operating procedure.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
And so just finding ways that you can, every position in our company, when someone comes in, like we give them a playbook to that position. Right, and it's like, here's exactly how this position operates. Here's what you're required to do. Here's how we're going to hold you accountable. Here's your KPIs, key performance indicators.
I know what a KPI is. I know that one.
And so just being able to, so when you're, expanding and scaling, you can't, just like you're saying, you've got to make sure that you're getting the right people in the right seats. Right. For me, I like to see. I'm a builder. You know what I mean? So I want to try to help everybody that comes into the organization, and I always tend to see maybe a version of them that they don't see. Some people it works out, some people it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And being able to know, and as you grow, you've got to put the right people in the right seats, and you can't always build people for those seats. You got to make sure they can come in and add value to the business.
Yeah, it's like what I try to do. So I was on very bad teams for real estate. So I try not to be that. And I try to give my agents a leg up that I didn't have starting out, because it's a hard business.
It is.
And, some will succeed and some will move on, which is fine. And some just, you can't, I don't push people either.
Yeah.
But I still encourage them. And you try to work with their strengths. So, like, I know he will go on camera and he will pick up a microphone and not care.
Because who cares?
Right. You kind of got like a Ron Burgundy kind of demeanor to you.
I'll take that. I will definitely take that.
So it's just, and we operate as like a little family. So, and we just have a lot of fun together. So it's, you have to learn to work to people's strengths and have them in the right spot.
Do you have people take like DISC assessments or Clifton Strengths or anything like that, like personality tests?
I already know that I'm a very high D.
Yeah, high D&I.
Yeah. So I can't deal with another one.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have two men on my team that are, depending on the moment, they are either me or my husband.
Yeah.
So, and one is more me and one is more my husband, and they both drive me insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel it.
So kind of attracted to similar personalities.
We tend to do that.
We keep her in check.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this one loves to point out my flaws, and the other one likes to challenge me on everything.
That's good. You need that, though. It keeps you on your toes.
I know. Then he feels bad.
Right.
And then I feel bad that he feels bad. And then it's just like a whole domino
It's just a
effect.
spiral.
And poor Janice is still trying to figure us out, I think. So she's like, I think they're crazy. I don't know.
No.
How long have you been in real estate?
So I've had a unconventional route through real estate that started in '96.
Okay.
So just it's really hard starting out. It's really hard starting out with a single income. And I didn't get really good at it until I got a husband that had a 6-figure income.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that makes everything easier.
It does. Well, and I think that's the, one of the biggest keys to business is that you live in the, fight or flight for a while. You know what I mean? You're kind of just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks, and you've got to be able to get yourself out of that scarcity mindset to actually operate.
Yeah, and there's times where I had to work, multiple jobs while trying to do real estate and stuff, and it sucked. And I was picked the wrong teams to be on, and that sucked. But and having my husband allows me to work 7 days a week. Yeah. Which I enjoy, which is really weird, but and
passion.
Yeah, I love it. And I wake up at 4 without an alarm clock, or 3 some days. Like, I got a lot to do. And my husband's like, "Dear God, woman." He's
That's
like,
insomnia.
He's like, "I know it's been a long week for you," because I had one week where every meeting started at 7:30 in the morning, and I'm like, "Shoot me now."
Yeah.
But he knows, he's like, I know it's a long week for you, and you're up and out before the sun even starts to come out. And then there's like an 8 in the number when you go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I'm usually in bed by 7:30.
So you're up early.
Yeah.
To bed early.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So, but
working early too, just doesn't like to talk or see other people until a certain time, until the caffeine.
Yeah, till it hits.
Caffeine has to kick in.
Yeah.
Get that,
So that's why.
A little bit.
That's why having multiple days of 7:30 meetings and having to be on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be on. Like, let me have some peace until like 10.
Yeah, I don't set any meetings until 10 o'clock. Like, I don't let, like, if anyone wants to book something with me, not till 10. I got to get my gym in. I got to get my...
Yeah, that's like
do all my
midday
stuff.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like now I get up and I have to, stretch and do all that stuff. Abby's a crazy woman. She is starting to work out 4 times a day now.
Yeah,
Isn't that what you said? She's crazy.
That is crazy. I mean, I've done like a 2-a-dayer, but, a 4-a-dayer
It's
crazy.
wild.
It is wild, You got to eat. You got to make sure you're eating and staying hydrated. If you're doing all that, you're going to be cramping and dragging.
And you should see the shit she does. It's like she posts these videos on Instagram and we're like, what the hell is she doing? So
Just throwing
lifting
weight
weights
around.
and
I used to be
these things called snatches. It doesn't even sound good.
No,
I don't
that's
know.
that CrossFit stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be a bodybuilder back in the day.
Okay.
But, then business came and I realized I wanted to make more money than I wanted to eat. So,
Yeah.
when I was training, that's all I had to do. I just worked out and you know what I mean? Take pictures of myself and do all that. And then I'm like, all right, this is cool, but not everybody just wants a guy that's muscular. You got to have some money too.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Jared James, the real estate
Yeah.
guy. So there's a guy who does a lot of talks and he does a lot of videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And you remind me a lot of him. He's
Jared
like,
James.
Yeah, he's like interesting to watch.
Okay.
And stuff.
Well,
So
thank you for that.
He does really great presentations
Yeah.
and he's always fun to listen to and watch. So.
Yeah, I do. I like to. So I have a nonprofit as well,
Okay.
and so.
Ooh, what is that?
It's called Foster the Future. And so what we do is we raise, resources and awareness for foster teens.
So I was in foster care.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so I was in foster care when I was very young, and I've always wanted to do something with that. So what I do know is that our networking group, BNI, will allow you to join for the first year as a nonprofit for free.
Okay, that would be awesome. Yeah, I have had a couple conversations this week. Last year we donated a roof to a foster family. And right now we're in the works of searching for another family to do in October to be able to donate a roof to them as well. Our last event was in December. We ended up raising, I think it was like $17,000, and we took the kids all Christmas shopping, took like 60 foster teens Christmas shopping, and then I had them come in the office and I got them all Rich Dad Poor Dad book. And then I helped them all build out like a little business plan and then had them on the podcast. And, so it's kind of like, for me, I had a mentor that, saw a version of me that I didn't see. And then he helped me kind of created the pathway for me to really step into. And through one church, they started raising money and buying gift cards for the teens because they couldn't, they're like the kids get presents and the teens get reality. You know what I mean? That their life's, that they're in this situation. And so kind of going through and doing that, it just spoke to me of like, man, if it just takes one conversation with one of these kids and I could open up a door for them, what could they achieve?
And people don't understand that how many teens age out of foster care and they have nothing and no one.
Nothing.
And that is just a really... Sorry.
You really struck a chord with her.
Sorry.
Well, and they have like the Bridges program, right? And like they've got to have all these qualifications to be able to get it. And if they don't have a job and they don't have, a transportation to get there, and so then they end up on the street, right? And it's a system. I mean, they say that like I think it's like 40% of them, end up in there because of a parent that was a drug addict or an alcoholic. And my parents both kind of stemmed from that, and so for me, it was like fortunately I had good people around me and was able to like willing to take a risk and kind of step out and leave my hometown. But a lot of kids don't ever have that, and they don't have a resource. They don't have connection.
They don't have anything.
So it's just the system, right? They get fed into the system. Even when I first started the organization, like I was going and meeting with the city, and like we were going to buy all these backpacks and books and things for the kids. And then I met with a private sector, and they're like, those kids will never get it. Like, you need to find a private sector. You need to find a direct path to the kids because the system is so flawed.
So messed up.
Yeah.
And like, I remember my mom would always, so my mom was technically my maternal grandmother. So my maternal grandparents fought for custody of me once I was in the system. And a huge reason for that is, like, I was in a bad foster home where I made the front page of the local paper for being taken out of a bad environment.
Wow.
And that, like, haunted my mom forever,
Yeah.
who was not the one I was in there for, but
Yeah.
the one who got me and raised
Yeah.
me, and I said deserved that title.
Yeah.
So, and I have to find out what the name of this group is, but there's a group in town that buys houses and turns them into, like, apartments
Yeah.
inside these old houses for teens that have aged out of foster care. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, everybody thinks about the little kids. For me, it's the ones that are going to age out.
100%.
Because I can't imagine the life I would have had my grandparents not stepped in.
100%. And it, I see it in our company, right? We have I have kids come in at 18 years old that start working for us, and, watching their development over 6 months, 12 months, they don't stay with us. Like, I'm always like, my thing is, like, I just want to be able to be the springboard for every person I connect with, right? If I can just help guide you in any direction, you can look back and say, yeah, Mike, help me. You know what I mean? That's all it is. And that's all these kids need, is someone that's like, you're not your circumstance. Right, you're not what you've come from. Like, you are your own individual, and you can be successful, but you can't be successful until you can actually see yourself being it.
Yeah, and someone has to, speak positively to
100%.
you. So, and that's one reason why I do like doing the interns. We end up with kids whose parents drive, what is it?
McLarens.
Yeah.
We live in Dublin.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
But, it's still, I remember the impression, like, I remember how impacted I was by my teachers and stuff too, who showed faith in me when,
They speak life into you.
Yeah, and just confidence in me that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I always tried to encourage, and I've had two that have started with me at 18 selling real estate.
Okay.
And one had a lot of success early, but then just went. Yeah. But whatever, it happens, right? Yeah. So interest went elsewhere. But I always try to encourage the younger ones.
Yeah.
And just kind of tell them what to expect.
You have to, and that's my, for me, my kind of like big vision for it is one, I want to install, or donate a roof in every state. So that's one for like a foster family in every state. So that's kind of that's like high level. But then I'm also working on kind of creating, so like CRC, so Columbus Roofing Company. I'm having like a CRC university, which eventually my goal is to have it be like a non-traditional education system that we can use to like feed kids from foster care into the university and really coach them on entrepreneurship, sales, real estate, like, bringing in other business owners to like educate these kids and then being able to connect them with our resources in the community.
I really would love to help.
That's awesome. I love that. I mean, and that's alignment, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is that, and it's funny because I've been putting, this past week, I've been really trying to get the ball moving on it. And then you guys reached out. I mean, that's the way the universe works.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of, sorry.
You're good.
You're the first one to ever make me cry on my podcast. So
we can make her cry quite often, but on the podcast, this is a first. This is a first.
But I'm a firm believer in people coming into your life at the right time for the
100%.
right reasons. So, and
100%.
Some may have to leave, but they're there for the.
No, I love that. Well, I definitely want to work together too.
Yes. Okay. He's gonna have to end the podcast for
What? No, you're fine. You're fine. This is something that affected you throughout your life and you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And to have him come in, I mean, it is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The timing of everything.
Should have asked you beforehand what else you were going to talk about.
No, this is great.
You're good.
I'm glad to get the real reaction here, though. This is great.
That's true. Well, we'll definitely get connected on it. I love that, and that's the biggest thing is that you've got to, I think that you've got to get yourself out there. Like, even with our business, like I didn't come from a roofing background or construction background. It just happened to be a business model that kind of like made sense to me. But also, it's a great platform to help the community. And I think that's where, as business owners, we get very caught up in revenue and numbers and, all of that. And it's like, we got to pull ourselves back and be like, what's the purpose to all of this? Because you can buy all the cool stuff and have all the money and it's not fulfilling.
But true foster families that are doing right by kids do need help like that.
100%.
Because like I was in a little girl's life. She was not a foster kid by any means, but she was, her parents couldn't be bothered. They were busy, doing their work and stuff. So I had her all the time, and I spent far more money on her than I ever made from babysitting her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so in a foster situation, those who were genuinely doing it to help the kids and are doing it for the right reasons need the help. So
100%
the donating a roof to them and stuff is amazing. And I like the
you.
fact that you're also trying to focus on the teen part of it too.
Yeah. Well, and because it's such it's a monumental stage of everybody's life. You know what I mean? Like when I look back at, my life to this point, it's like those high school years. Mm-hmm. So many of us, the patterns and the scars that we have in our life were created from that, like 9 to 17. You know what I mean? And if you can really change someone's trajectory if you can meet them where they're at an age that they're still, have the ability to shift their mindset and change a little bit, because you know how it is when you get into 25, 30, like, it's hard to change, you know what I mean? We're really set in our ways, and our egos kind of keeps us from really being able to consume different perspectives and change the way we think. And, when you can get a kid young enough, it's like they haven't, they might have been beaten down a lot, but like they can still shift a little bit and kind of have a little bit of belief in humanity.
Yeah, it's just that genuine confidence that you help instill.
Yeah.
I love that. So I'm very thankful that you're here today.
Thanks for having me.
So, wasn't expecting it, and I don't like days when I cry. But I am very grateful that you're on here, and definitely want to get you connected with B&I. Sorry, it's at 7:30 in the morning in Upper Arlington. But
it's all right. I have insomnia too, so I'm usually up at 4 o'clock as well.
It's a great group.
Yeah.
And I think you'd love them.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. 100%. Love to be a part of that.
Yeah. So, anyhow. Okay, so... Dear God. Anyhow. Lost my train of thought. So. Anyhow. Shannon Grimm, thanks for listening today. We appreciate it. And do you want to tell everybody how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. It's at Michael McGovern, RCEO. Even if you want to directly connect over any of this stuff, you can get me at Michael at ColumbusRoofingCO.com. Obviously, you want to check out our website. It's ColumbusRoofingCO.com as well. So that's the best ways to connect with me, and to message me, reach out. More than happy to. And I'll give you guys my contact info and stuff as well.
Perfect.
And that way, if you have anyone that would like to connect, and and like I said, the big push right now is really trying to help a family out this next month. So if anyone out there has anyone that you guys are connected with or could send our way, it'd be awesome.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for watching or listening, as always. And remember to...
like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Thank you.